Looks like people are jumping back on here.
David, the only one I don't see yet is Margaret.
Okay. We'll give her another minute or so. Well, I'm sure Margaret will be joining us momentarily. So I will call to order this meeting of the Risk and Audit Committee, open session. It's good to see everybody's happy, smiling faces here. And so is that Margaret coming on? Oh, nope, that's Belize. Okay, well, let's go ahead and call the roll, and we'll hopefully Margaret will jump in here momentarily. So let's go ahead and get started with the roll call.
David Miller,
Here.
Margaret Brown, Frank Ruffino for Fiona Ma,
Present.
Lisa Middleton,
Present.
Jason Perez,
Here.
Donda Wesley, excused,
Yes, excused.
Betty Yee. I apologize, Lynn Packlin for Betty Yee.
Here.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, I have all in attendance waiting upon Margaret Brown to attend.
Yeah, could somebody see if she's having a technical problem or anything? Yeah, she was just with us minutes ago, so I'm hoping it's just a little challenge logging back on or something.
I'm sending her an email, although she's having technical problems. That may not be helpful. But.
Yeah. Well, I hate to do it, but if we don't hear from her in another minute or two, I think we'll go forward. But I am inclined to give her another minute or two to see if we can track her down and get it sorted out. She may have just misheard the time we were coming back even, so.
Jared, do you see Margaret at all?
I do not, Marcy. She's not in the queue yet.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Miller, you do have a quorum when you determine whether to proceed.
Yeah. Okay, well, it seems she's not replying to texts and everything, so maybe her little dog escaped and she's chasing him around the neighborhood. So we will go forward. We have a quorum, and so next item on our agenda, item 2, is the election of the Risk and Audit Committee Chair and Vice Chair. And so I will turn the gavel over to the Vice Chair, Director Middleton.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Is there a nomination for Chair of the committee? I'd like
Yes.
to recognize Mr. Ruffino.
Thank you, Ms. Middleton. We would like to place a nomination, Lisa Middleton as the chair of the committee.
Thank you. Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? And a third time, are there any other nominations? Not hearing any other nominations, I will close the nominations and we will take a vote for Chair of the Risk and Audit Committee.
I'll second.
Thank you.
Okay, I have Margaret Brown's not on yet. Okay, Frank Ruffino for Fiona Ma.
Aye.
Lisa Middleton,
Aye.
Jason Perez,
Aye.
Shonda Wesley. Excused. Lynn Paquin for Betty Yee.
Aye.
Mr. Chair, I have all ayes. Motion made by Frank Ruffino, seconded by Jason Perez, for the chair being Elisa Middleton.
Okay, put me down as an aye as well. And with
And I'll
that,
make that change now.
the motion passes, and congratulations, Director Middleton, and you just hang on to that gavel.
Right, thank you. And I appreciate the confidence of the committee and thank Mr. Miller for his service as chair. With that, the next agenda item is nominations for vice chair of the committee. Mr. Ruffino.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and congratulations. And I would like to nominate David Miller as the vice chair of the committee.
Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? And a third time, are there any other nominations? Hearing none, the nominations are closed. Ms. Hopper, would you call the roll or call the vote?
Okay, Madam Chair, do we want to have a second on this?
Can we get a second? Mr. Perez.
Thank you. Margaret Brown still is not in attendance. Frank Ruffino for Fiona Ma.
Aye.
David Miller.
Aye.
Jason Perez.
Aye.
Shonda Wesley is excused. Lynn Paquin for Betty Yee.
Aye.
Madam Chair, I have 4 ayes. Shonda Wesley excused. Margaret Brown has not yet come into attendance, with a motion made by Frank Ruffino, seconded by Jason Perez, for Vice Chair David Miller for the Risk and Audit Committee.
Thank you, Ms. Hopper. We will move on to agenda item 3, approval of the February 17, 2021 Risk and Audit Committee timed agenda. Can I get a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Mr. Miller, second. Ms. Paquin. Is this a roll call vote, Ms. Hopper?
Yes, it is.
All right. Would you call the roll, please?
Sure. Frank Ruffino for me, Fiona Ma,
Aye.
David Miller,
Aye.
Jason Perez,
Aye.
Shonda Wesley, excused. Lynn Paquin for Betty Yee.
Aye.
Madam Chair, I have 4 ayes. Shonda Wesley excused. And again, Margaret Brown, I do not show that she's in attendance as of yet.
I just joined and I'll say aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Brown.
And that makes it for 5 ayes with a motion made by David Miller. Lynn Paquin seconding it for the approval of the timed agenda.
Thank you. And everything okay, Ms. Brown? All right, thank you. With that, we will move on to item number 4 in the agenda, the executive report. Ms. Timberlake Diamano.
Good morning. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Thank you. Good morning, Madam Chair, Mr. Vice Chair, committee members, Marlene Timberlake Diadamo, CalPERS team member. Congratulations to Ms. Middleton and Mr. Miller on their appointments as Chair and Vice Chair of the Risk and Audit Committee. I look forward to working with you during the upcoming year. I'd like to quickly point out that attachment 1 for agenda item 6C had the wrong date in the header. It should read Status of Audit Observations Dashboard as of September 30, 2020, not June 30, 2020, as it currently reads. Today, we have the committee delegation as an action consent item, and we will present the mid-year plans for both enterprise compliance and enterprise risk management. These information items will provide an update on accomplishments for the first half of the fiscal year 2020 to 2021. Also, Buck Consulting, our third-party actuarial firm, has completed their reviews of the actuarial valuations for CalPERS' various pension plans. This report provides a summary of reviews performed for the period of March 1, 2016 through October 31st, 2020, and the resulting comments from each review. The next Risk and Audit Committee meeting is scheduled for April 19th, 2021, and includes the 2021-22 plans for enterprise compliance and enterprise risk management and the revised audit resolution policy. Thank you, Madam Chair. This concludes my report, and I would be happy to take any questions.
Are there any questions for Ms. Timberlake Diadamo? Seeing none, we will move on to action consent items. I see that Ms. Brown has asked for 5B to be pulled, so we will begin with 5A, which is approval of the November 17, 2020 meeting minutes. Is there a motion to approve?
Second.
Ms. Brown moving, Mr. Miller seconding. Ms. Hopper?
Thank you. Margaret Brown,
Aye.
Frank Ruffino for Fiona Ma,
Aye.
David Miller,
Aye.
Jason Perez,
Aye.
Shonda Wesley, excused. Lynn Paquin for Betty Yee.
Aye.
Madam Chair, I have all ayes. Motion being made by Margaret Brown, seconded by David Miller for the approval of the November 17th, 2020 Risk and Audit Committee meeting minutes.
Thank you, Ms. Hopper. That takes us to item 5B, review of Risk and Audit Committee delegation. Ms. Brown asked that to be pulled. Ms. Brown, do you have a question or comment you would like to make initially, or would you like a staff report to precede?
Let me ask my questions and maybe we can just, abbreviate it just a little bit. By the way, congratulations on your reelection. I would have voted for that. So on page 2, item 5B, where the red line is, that shows us that we're striking out real estate audits and public agency reviews, and now we're calling that employer compliance reviews. And so I have a huge concern about removing real estate audits, especially if you're trying to say that they'll be reviewed as a part of internal audits. This is my one, well, I have many, but this is one of my greatest concerns, is that we never review the internal audits, or rarely review the internal audits. And so I certainly would not want to encompass real estate audits into internal audits, because they're confidential. We can never get them on this public session, and they don't qualify for closed session. So I would adamantly opposed to that. And then public agency reviews. I'm concerned about the difference between public agency and employer compliance reviews. I'm not sure about that, so I just need an explanation on that.
Okay.
And would that be Mr. Pui that would like to comment on that? And
Sure. Madam Chair, Billy Shapoi, Office of Audit Services. Ms. Brown, what those two items do are they're trying to clarify what our practice is. First, the real estate audits have always been part of the internal audit reviews, and we just wanted to clarify what the delegation is and then how it's encompassing. It falls under the internal audits. I don't know why in the past it was spelled out. That's the reason why. And then to answer your second question regarding the public agency reviews versus employer compliance reviews, again, is to clarify the definitions. We're auditing the public agencies, the state, and the schools. They're all the different parties that contract, employers that contract with CalPERS. So when we say employer compliance reviews, it's all encompassing. But in the past, again, we were only spelling out the public agencies, which I do not have a clear understanding of why it was done that way. But just to clarify that we are auditing all various different kinds of agencies, employers that contract with CalPERS.
Okay, so Ms. Chapui, I understand the second part. We're expanding the definition, so that gives us more opportunities. It does not restrict us. But the first one with real estate audits, can you tell me when's the last time we discussed with you a real estate audit?
When was the last time? We just, we don't separately report those or discuss them. They're, again, as I explained, they're part of the internal audit reviews. My team completes. So they're part of the investment office audit reviews.
So when's the last time you did a real estate audit?
So we would have to go back to the audit plan. I do not have it ready right now, but it was approved during last June, and we present that to the Risk and Audit Committee every year. So whatever the Office of Audit Services chose or reported to the Risk and Audit Committee as part of their plan to review the areas within the investment office, it would be included in the audit plan that was presented to the Risk and Audit Committee in June.
Yeah. My concern is that I don't think we've ever discussed real estate audits. I mean, we did just earlier in finance because there was an adjustment and that was important, but I don't, other than the specific real estate issue, like on the specific, like the hole in the ground, we typically don't discuss real estate audits. And so my concern is that if we lump them in with all internal audit, that it's a problem. And if we haven't been following our delegated authority, you know, we haven't been doing it all along, maybe we should. Those are my comments.
Ms. Chapui, question for you. The change in wording that you have here, does that result in any change in operational practices of you or your department?
No.
All right.
It's just to clarify.
All right. Will it result in any change as you understand it or anyone else in staff understands it in terms of the extent of oversight that this committee has?
No.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate the questions, but I think what we've got is clarifying language without making a change in practice or policy. And I do think that's important to emphasize.
I appreciate the help, Ms. Middleton, on that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other questions or comments? Seeing none, could I get a motion to approve item 5B? Mr. Miller,
So moved.
second? Is there a second? Ms. Paquin, second. Ms. Hopper, would you call the roll, please?
Margaret Brown,
No.
Frank Ruffino for Fiona Ma,
Aye.
David Miller,
Aye.
Jason Perez,
Aye.
Shonda Wesley, excused, Lynn Paquin for Betty Yee.
Aye.
Madam Chair, I have 4 ayes, 1 no made by Margaret Brown, motion made by David Miller, seconded by Lynn Paquin for the approval of item 5B, review of the Risk and Audit Committee delegation.
All right. Thank you. With that, we will move on to information consent items. That is agenda item number 6. Is there any of the agenda items that any member wishes to be pulled from number 6? Seeing none, can we get a motion to approve agenda item number 6?
Move approval. Oh,
Madam Chair, we do not need approval on information
No.
consent items.
All right, thank you. Then we will move to item number 7, information agenda items. Let's begin with 7A, Ms. Timberlake Diamano.
Thank you. Agenda item 7A is meant to provide an update regarding the completion status of Enterprise Compliance's fiscal year annual plan, which was brought to you in April of 2020. The annual plan, as you are aware, is meant to improve compliance program maturity and is built on the results of our annual survey. The identified items are meant to increase the overall maturity of the compliance program. So before you is the updates. We've recognized or put forth 3 areas: build risk-specific mitigation plans, manage third-party risks, and then measure compliance training effectiveness. And within each of these areas, we've provided an update on the activities of the compliance group for achieving these results. At this point, I can stop and see if anybody has any questions on this information item.
Are there any questions? I don't see any.
Okay, well, thank you, and look forward to bringing you the new annual plan at our next meeting. The next item would be 7B, and that's going to be the risk management update.
All right. And for that, I would like to call on Mr. Grimes.
Madam Chair, Vice Chair, congratulations. Committee members, members of the board, Forrest Grimes, CalPERS team. It's nice to be with you today, and I hope you're all doing well. Item 7B is the Enterprise Risk Management Division 2020-21 mid-year work plan update. A dashboard providing a snapshot of our progress appears on page 87 of your materials. Funds sustainability includes the Asset Liability Management Business Plan Initiative, with the following milestones still left to accomplish prior to year end, as mentioned by Christine and Sterling yesterday in the Investment Committee. Provide capital market assumptions to the board, provide inflation estimate to the board, and execute on the stakeholder engagement plan that includes ongoing webinars, as was conducted in January. Under risk management, you can see that integrating risk management into enterprise strategy is presently yellow. This is because we had a vacancy and the team member that was working on the reassurance of performance measures portion of this work filled in on the risk assessment work that was presented to the committee at your November 2020 meeting. We are now focused on catching up and completing the performance reassurance work prior to fiscal year end. The risk team is also leading an enterprise-wide effort to enhance CalPERS data governance with policy and business glossary deliverables outlined in the Enterprise Data Management Business Plan initiative. This initiative is on track with deliverables all due by June 2021, which is why it is presently shown as 20% complete. We also continue to evaluate CalPERS insurance portfolio and bring various insurance policy options to the executive team for risk transfer considerations. This effort is also on track and proceeding as planned. With that, I will stop and ask Madam Chair if you have any questions from the committee or members.
Are there any questions from the committee? I don't see any in the chat, and I don't see any from any of the any individuals. So, Mr. Grimes, thank you for an excellent report, and we will move on to item 7C. Ms. Chapuy.
Good morning, Madam Chair and members of the committee. Blaise Chapuy, Office of Audit Services. Agenda item 7B is an information item. Buck Global completed its independent review of the actuarial valuations, and their staff is here to present their final report. I would like to turn it over to David. I hope David is here. I didn't see his name on the participants, but I think he was invited. David? There it is.
Hello. Yeah, they didn't enable my audio or camera until just now. For security reasons, I'm sure. Yes, thank you, Blaise. As Ms. Chapuy pointed out, we have completed task 7, the final task in our engagement, which is contract number 2015-8123 to provide parallel valuation and certification services for the actuarial valuation reports prepared by the CalPERS Actuarial Office over the course of the last 6 years. So in each of tasks 1 through 6, we examined valuations for various groupings of the plans for which the CalPERS Actuarial Audit Office prepares annual valuations. In task 1, we examined the actuarial valuations prepared as of June 30th, 2014 for the public agency plans, and then again for those same plans in task 4 as of June 30th, 2017. Tasks 2 and 5 were for the state and schools systems. Those were involved auditing and replication of the results of the June 30th, 2015 and June 30th, 2018 valuations. And then in tasks 3 and 6, we examined the valuations prepared for judges' retirement systems 1 and 2, the legislative plan, and the 1959 survivor benefit plan, those valuations as of June 30th, 2016 and June 30th, 2019. In all of our examinations, we found that the work of the CalPERS Actuarial Office was in very good order. It demonstrated a very high level of technical sophistication, attention to detail, and a high level of compliance with actuarial standards of practice. We did find certain areas in which our results differed from those of the actuarial office. These differences were minor. In some cases, they were attributable to differences in the valuation programs used by the actuarial office and those used by my firm, Buck. Those differences are minor, and they just represent differences that result from alternative approaches to approximating future benefits for participants in the various systems for whom we were replicating valuation results. In some other areas, we did find things that we thought pointed to potential improvements, again, of a rather modest nature in terms of their impact on results. In the work that was being done by the actuarial office, we highlighted those in our report. And in all of those cases, I can report that the changes we suggested have been implemented or are in the course of being implemented. And then finally, in terms of the content of the report and the extent to which the content complied fully with actuarial standards of practice, again, we found a very high level of compliance generally. We did find some areas in which we thought compliance could be more fully achieved if certain details were added to reports. And here again, all of the recommendations we made in tasks 1 through 6 have either been implemented or are in the process of being implemented. So with that, I would entertain any questions that anyone would care to ask me.
Are there any questions for Mr. Driscoll? Mr. Driscoll, could you give us just an example of one of the minor process improvements that you suggested that are in the process of being implemented?
Certainly. There was a difference of approach in the application of certain actuarial assumptions. And this goes back to tasks 1 and 4. There was a difference in terms of whether or not decrements that are applied on the basis of the amount of service that a participant had was determined on the basis of elapsed time or on the basis of actual service accrual. And that only matters in the case of people who work part-time schedules, so that with each 12 months of elapsed time, there's actually the accrual of less than a full year's of credited service. So when that particular issue was pointed out, which was minor in terms of its overall impact, the actuarial office acknowledged fairly readily that, yes, it really should be on the basis of credited service accumulated to date rather than elapsed time. And that particular change has actually been fully implemented.
All right, thank you. Are there any questions for Mr. Driscoll? If not, I see none. I'll thank you for your work and our appreciation to you and your firm.
Well, thank you, and congratulations to the new chair and vice chair of the Risk and Audit Committee.
Madam Chair, excuse me.
Yes. Ms. Peckham?
Yes, sorry. I think this might be more of a question for staff. I'm just curious, since this is the end of the 5-year cycle with Buck, what is the process for going forward? Do you plan to issue an RFP for another 5-year cycle, or is this just something that is undertaken periodically?
I think we have Mr. Hoffner on the line. Doug, if you could come on video and audio, please.
I'm here. Could you repeat the question? I didn't think I heard all of it.
Sure. I was just curious, now that we're at the end of this 5-year cycle, what is the process going forward? Is this something, an RFP that's already been released for the next cycle, or is it just an activity that's done periodically?
I have to double check. I don't know that the RFP has been released. I think that would be, that's typically our process, is to basically have a new set of requirements going out for that basically concurrent review. But I can double check to see what the process is for that and timing.
Okay.
May I chime in real quick? This is Belize Shipway. Ms. Pequin, last November, I believe Actuarial Office brought it to the Risk and Audit Committee's attention. There should be, I think there's another one coming up, and I can't remember the timelines, but yes, there will be another RFP.
Okay, great.
So
thank you.
Our actuary just sent me a message that the committee approved the schedule. So we'll send that out post meeting to everyone, just as a reminder of what that schedule is.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for that question. Are there any other questions for staff on item 7C? Seeing none, we will move on to summary of committee direction. Ms. Timberlake Diamano.
Thank you. I did not record any committee direction prior to the last item where Ms. Frost had indicated that we would send out the schedule post-meeting for the RFP for the actuarial consultant. So if that meets with everyone's approval, I will record that as committee direction. I see nodding, so.
That is my understanding, so thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Fox, do we have any public comment?
Madam Chair, there are no callers at this time.
All right. Then with that, we will adjourn the open session. We will reconvene in the closed session. And as we're getting to the end of our schedule for the day, I'd like to charge right ahead. If we will take, it's a couple of minutes short of noon right now. Let's reconvene in 5 minutes in closed session with an opportunity to speak to Ms. Timberlake Diamano, Ms. Chapui, and Mr. Grimes. Thank you all and have a good day.
Thank you.